Trust Me Travel presents a series of travel narratives from around the world entitled Travel Time with Robert and Tracy. This narrative is for Madrid, Spain. Madrid is located in the center of Spain, the center of the Iberian Peninsula as well. We will be traveling to Madrid by high-speed train from Barcelona. Madrid does have a very nice international airport, but traveling within Spain or with any country where you're traveling less than, say, 1,000 kilometers, the easiest and best way to do it is by a high-speed train if there is a high-speed rail system between the two cities. In Spain, Barcelona and Madrid and many others are connected by high-speed rail, and it's a very comfortable and quick way to travel. One of the advantages is that you leave from the center of the city and you arrive in the center of the city. If you fly in by an airport, as an example, you have to taxi or somehow get into the middle of the city. And it's a nice way to travel. I mean, the coaches or the train cars are very spacious. The seats are wide and comfortable. You get to look out the windows and see the countryside pass you by. And you travel, at around 300 kilometers an hour. We arrive at Atoche station, the main train station for Madrid. It's an older station. It celebrates the fact of the Spanish colonies in the New World with this tropical garden in the middle. I was fascinated by this turtle pond. But stepping outside the station, there is a taxi queue. You can easily grab a cab. The taxi coordinator speaks English. Tell him the hotel you want to go to. He tells the driver in Spanish, and in our case, from the time we got off the train to the time we checked into the hotel was less than a half an hour. Madrid is a large city, population of 6.5 million, but we're only going to be concentrating on the tourist districts. There are several. We will start with Retiro district. This district is of parks and museums. Our hotel is actually located fairly close. Across the street from here is a very large building. This is the Prado Museum, considered by many to be the finest art collection in all of Europe. They do concentrate on the Spanish masters. You'll recognize a few of them here. The museum does have a free day where you can attend or go through free of charge. It is extremely crowded. It's best to buy your tickets online. You get a reserved time where you can enter and enjoy the museum at your leisure. We happen to be here on a free day. That's the line. Along with the Prado, there are many buildings in the area, churches. This also used to be an older area of palaces for the Spanish royalty. We pick up our guide Nacho here at the park, and he's explaining to us that the park at one time was the exclusive domain for royalty. In the late 1800s, it became a city park and was also to be the location of a Pan-American exposition featuring the Spanish colonies, notably the Philippines.
The Spanish-American War. I'm sure you call it something else.
Yeah, well, exactly. There's much influence, more than 300 years of colony in the Philippines, okay? So there's much legacy left from Spanish culture in the Philippines.
Nacho was explaining that when all of this improvements were completed here at the park for this Pan-American Conference, the Spanish-American War had broken out and the colonies had been lost. He's also explaining to us the Madrid coat of arms seen here. It is a bear standing on its hind legs, propped up against a strawberry tree, as they call it, a madrono tree. This gate here separates the park from the rest of the city. Another famous Madrid landmark is the Sibylle Fountain. It can be considered as the second most important symbol of the city. We will next visit the district of Chueca, located somewhat close to the center of the city, but also is bounded to the north side by the central business district. And let's talk a little bit about this area here. It's a lot of apartments, but also has a lot of the shopping opportunities in the form of department stores in this area as well. The central business district, as I said, is to the north, is quite modern, as you can see here. Also in Shoeke, you will find government buildings, including the Congress of Deputies, but also the equivalent to Times Squares, as Not Show explains what happens on New Year's Eve.
That clock we follow, the 31st, last day of the year, last 12 seconds of the year. We have a division where we have one day per last second marked by that clock. Okay, during Christmas time, all of Spanish TV
Here
is
in
up on
Puerto del Sol is where the Spanish custom of eating 12 grapes at the end of the year, the 12th grape at the stroke of midnight. The Royal Post Office is not really a post office, it's the headquarters for the mayor's office. Various walking streets surround the area, surrounded by shops. This is a great place to spend a day, not only shopping, but just watching people. There's a lot of street performers in this area. The police, of course, are present and everybody feels quite safe, but it's fun just to be here. Under this black cloth are a couple of yogis, or yogi wannabes. These are generally gypsy men who, using a iron framework so that they look like they're defying gravity, attract donations. But also there's a fun little thing called a bakery lottery. You take your chances with a roulette wheel to see how many cookies you get.
Here? The wheel, of course, just like that. Okay. No. One, you get the one. Which would you prefer, chocolate or the? He said chocolate, yes.
Tracy tries her luck, gets to choose one cookie recommended to be chocolate. The next district we're going to explore is Centro. This is the heart of the old city. Here you'll find tapas and pinchos and also a little churro shop that cooks, as well as churros, potato chips. Also here is where the pub or the bar or restaurant district is. Down these little lanes we have come across Casa Alberto. A favorite drink in these locations is vermouth flavored, and you have that with a little bit of ham. Here it is being cut off of the bone with a little cheese. Having exhausted what was on that ham hock, here we have a new one being set up and ready to carve. Notice how thin he can cut these things. This is amazing. It's an art. And it's actually very delicious. But in addition to Casa Alberto, there are lots of little bars, and they all are quaint, and they have these very colorful facades on the outside, all done in these hand-painted tiles. It's always nice to see a Madrid landmark. But walking through the district here, you can just see that they're one right next to another. If you can't find a place to get a drink here, you're in the wrong part of Madrid. Moving along, there are other plazas throughout the area. This is Plaza Santa Ana.
And if you go to Persia or Syria where they're destroying all their legacy.
A little bachelorette party there. This is also known as Literary District, simply because the streets are named after famous authors, Lope de Vega, Cervantes, author of Don Quixote. Lots of little shops to kind of attract your attention as well. You come across Plaza Mayor, a very large square, kind of the heart of the Central District, as you may say. Some of the buildings are a bit risque. This is actually a hotel. But you also have these North Africans, as we'd call them. They're kind of the North Africa mafia selling these knockoff goods in the area here. This is also the area of what is called the Gothic District, or the Old District, and here we are at a convent where the cloistered nuns will be glad to sell you baked goods through a closed revolving window. We're next going to the Palace District, or the Palacio District. This is where the Royal Palace of Madrid is now located. Walking towards the palace, you pass through the Plaza de Oriente, complete with statues of 15 Gothic kings. The first thing we'll see is the Cathedral de Santa Maria. This is actually a fairly new building. Spain built lots of cathedrals in the New World, but didn't get around to building a cathedral in Madrid until 1879. It was not completed until 1993, interrupted by the Spanish Civil War for many years, and so it has something of an Art Deco design. Neo-Gothic is what they call it, but it is certainly colorful and very pretty. The outside is kind of a gray granite, which is kind of drab, but the interior is frankly spectacular. Stepping outside of the cathedral, there is a large plaza on the opposite side. The plaza is in fact the Royal Palace itself, built on the site of an older Moorish castle from the 9th century. Philip II, when he moved the capital from Toledo to Madrid in 1561, started a palace or a castle here. That burned down and destroyed many of the precious paintings. Las Piñas, which we saw at the Prado Museum, was one of the few saved. After the fire that destroyed the original palace, Philip V in 1734 began planning and construction of the new palace that we have today. Philip V had actually been raised in Versailles. He was French by birth and modeled his new palace in Spain after Versailles, his home in France. So as you look at the palace, you can see the influence of Versailles on its appearances. And so as the sun sets, we say goodbye to Madrid and bid this Versailles of the South fond farewell. There are several day trips you can take out from Madrid, including Toledo, but we're actually heading off down to Seville. So the next day we get on a high-speed train. But that's another time on Travel Time with Robert and Tracy, presented by Trust Me Travel. We have a large selection of travel videos on trustmewithtravel.com. So join us there, trustmewithtravel.com. Robert and Tracy wish you happy travels.